Hey everyone, my name is Misha Blackman and welcome back to my channel where we talk about loving Jesus, building wealth, and living life from a millennial Christian perspective. If you're new here, I post videos every Monday, so definitely click the subscribe button below so you don't miss any of my uploads. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to save money during quarantine and also minimize our expenses in this season and in the future. So I've just been pleasantly surprised when looking at my bank account and realizing how I have unintentionally been able to save quite a bit of money during quarantine. And I'm going to tell you how right now. So it's important to note that I have been able to remain employed during this time. So I'm still getting the same salary that I was getting before quarantine started. So here are a few ways that I've been able to save money during this time without even trying. So number one, gas. Of course, we're not driving anywhere. I barely drive. So typically I would spend about $100 a month around there on gas, commuting to and from work and going other places during the week. Now I'm filling up my tank once a month and I'm spending about $40 on gas a month, which is amazing to me. Now, obviously this will not last after quarantine. We will have to resume commuting and paying for gas. But right now, that's one of the ways that I've been able to save money. Secondly, the not eating out. So restaurants are closed. That means that I'm not going out for dinner like I typically would maybe a few times a month. And I'm also not buying lunches at work like I would maybe a couple times a week. All of that really adds up. Thirdly, the non-essential shopping. So malls are closed. We cannot go and browse stores and end up buying things that we may or may not need. And lastly, there's a lot of things that have been paused. Payments. So for example, my gym membership. Gyms are closed, so they're no longer charging us for the gym. Student loan payments have been deferred for 6 months. So those payments are no longer mandatory. And then things like car insurance companies have reduced their rates. So obviously there's reduced driving, reduced kilometers. So they've been generous enough to reduce some of their payments for their clients. So those things together was able to make quite a bit of a dent in my monthly expenses. And recently I noticed and I thought this would be amazing if this could continue after quarantine. If I was able to continue saving this amount of money, this will be great. So I thought to myself, how would I be able to do that? So I'm going to give you 5 tips right now on how we can minimize expenses in this season and going forward. So number 1, and this has been a total game changer for me, buying groceries in bulk. So my boyfriend and I got Costco memberships in the beginning of this year before the quarantine and lockdown even happened. Costco is a wholesale grocery store that also sells a bunch of other things. Like you could find almost anything, household items, etc. at Costco. Costco is in Canada and the United States. I'm not sure if it's anywhere else in the world, but I will put the link to the Costco website in the description box below if you are interested. I never really thought I would want to be buying bulk as an individual, like I don't have a big family or anything, but actually it helps you save so much because you're able to buy more for less and at a reduced tax rate, which is amazing. Especially on grocery items like meats that can be really expensive, just to be able to get such a good portion of that in bulk for less, it really is worth it. So getting a wholesale membership is awesome, but even if you can't do that during this time, there's still ways that you can grocery shop and buy certain items that will allow you to stretch them throughout the week and shop less. So for example, items like rice, pasta, and potatoes are really good to stretch throughout the week, as well as things like eggs and beans are also good sources of protein if you want to purchase less meat. You can also purchase things like sardines and fish that are cheaper than meat as well, cheaper than like beef and chicken. And things like that. Number 2 that goes hand in hand with that is eating leftovers. So during this time and even in the future, it's important to not let anything go to waste. And I think that I used to unintentionally waste things before, but now we're so cautious because we don't want to be running to a grocery store all the time. So we really, any leftovers that we have, we pack up, put it in the fridge and eat it the next day for lunch or even to go along with the next day's dinner. And that's how we really are able to stretch our food and buy less groceries. Number 3 is finding cheap and free entertainment to enjoy. So instead of holding on to all of our different TV subscriptions, a lot of us are subscribed to things like Netflix, Prime, Amazon, or Amazon Video, Hulu and all the different TV channels. Instead of keeping all of those subscriptions, I think that it's okay to minimize those to maybe 1 or 2 of your favorites, because those things really do add up. And in this time of quarantine, I've realized that like I've picked up books more than I used to. Reading is a lot cheaper than watching TV and having all those unnecessary channels, and then you can also learn things in the process. So picking up reading and other activities that are less costly will help you to save money. Number 4 is reduced shopping for non-essentials. So even after the lockdown, when the malls open back up, I think this time has really shown me that we can really do without a lot and be okay. So during this time, obviously, like I haven't been wearing very much makeup, because whenever I go outside, like it's really just to go to the grocery store or something. There's really no need to be using the makeup I have. Like, why waste it? So I've bought a lot less of that. I haven't done any clothes shopping in the longest time. And that's just because like things are closed and we're not really going anywhere. So obviously that will change after, but it's just a good mentality to have, like, do I really need this? Like, if I have savings goals and things that I want to reach, goals to pay down debt, like, do I really need like this extra dress or this new top or this new makeup? Like, do I really need it, or can I do without it? Can I use less and be okay? The answer is yes, you can. And number 5, last but not least, is being mindful of takeout and just doing it less frequently. Just because, like I said, we are doing our bulk grocery shopping, so we don't really need to spend the extra money on takeout unless it's a special occasion like a birthday or something. So now, guys, I have 2 pro tips for you guys. So if you don't take anything else away from this video, I hope that you hear the next 2 things that I'm about to say. So with everything, all the tips that I just provided for you guys, I'm telling you right now that being able to do those things successfully is not necessarily easy. And what will help you so much is, number 1, if you have a plan. It's really hard to attain almost any financial goal without a plan and a strategy in place. So when I say plan, I mean a budget. Being able to know, like, can I afford this? And, you know, should I buy these clothes right now, or this makeup, or should I not? Things like that, being able to know where you can cut back, it helps so much when you have a budget. And there are a lot of really complex and complicated budget templates out there and spreadsheets and all these things. I've tried them, and to be honest, like at this point in my life right now, I found it hard to be consistent with them, plugging in the numbers and everything like that all the time. I think a simple budget for a young person is really, really easy. I basically do a budget at the beginning of every month with my first paycheck of the month, and I just write out how much income I have, what my paycheck was. I write out all of my bills that need to be paid first, my number 1 priorities, and then with whatever is left after that, I look at what I want to save and what I need to buy that month personally or otherwise. And I basically just write out a new budget every month, and that's the way. I have a budget book. I have multiple budget books, and that's how I do my budget. If you guys are interested in seeing like a step-by-step process of how I budget, definitely leave a comment below, let me know, and I will be more than willing to do a video on that topic specifically. But it's just important that you need a plan. I like to be organized. I like to plan things in general, and especially when it comes to finances, I just think it's so important to plan. Number 2 is opening a high interest online only savings account is a great idea, especially if you're in a position during this time where you do have some extra cash and you want to know what to do with it. One of the things that you can do is to go online and Google an online only bank and open up one of those online bank accounts. So these online banks do not have a physical location. You cannot walk into them and go speak to a teller. Everything is done virtually, and this allows for them to be able to provide a high interest rate on your money. So there's often advertisements like open a bank account today and receive 2.8% interest for the next 6 months or something like that. That's an example. So they usually have promotions like that. This would be a great time for you to take that extra cash that you're saving, put it into one of those online savings accounts so you can't touch all the time, and just watch it grow. That type of a bank account is a great one to start an emergency fund. people that had emergency funds before this lockdown situation happened, and then they unfortunately maybe lost their jobs or had reduced income. I'm sure that emergency fund really came in handy. So it's really important to have an emergency fund that would make up for 6 months of your income. So right now, or even after quarantine, when you're in a better financial situation, go online and open up an online-only savings account. So finally, the last thing that I will say in this video is a gentle reminder that giving is just as important as saving. So if you are in a financial situation where you do have some extra cash, I just wanted to remind you guys that if you have a friend or a family member that is in need at this time, definitely remember to give, lend a helping hand. Small businesses that might be struggling, you can help by supporting them. And even increasing your tithe at your local church is also a good idea if you do have extra cash during this time. Along with your saving, don't forget to give. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. Definitely give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And if you are not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. I will see you guys next Monday for another video. Bye.